We took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were.
Hey, Canes fans. Welcome back to Just Win Canes. And if you just saw that Duke game, abysmal. Terrible. We are a hot dumpster fire right now. I honestly cannot remember a season this bad. I've been watching the Canes since I think my first game was in 1981 when I moved to Florida from Arkansas. And I know this is a different era, there's different players and whatnot. We got a coach is in his first year here, but this is bad. This is bad. Hold on, before I get started, I want to try to give me some little happy juice here. A little adult beverage to try to get my brain in a positive frame of mind, but it's going to be very difficult. That game was hard to watch. Extremely hard to watch. Now, I can't put it all on the coaching staff, but at the end of the day, head coach has to take responsibility for what's happened. Now, you can say, hey, you know, the coach wasn't out there fumbling balls and throwing picks, but he's coaching those kids. So let's break it down. They had 8 turnovers today. If you take everything out of the equation that went wrong, let's say the defense played great today. Let's say that we had great play from our running backs. Let's say that our receivers were running crisp routes and were fighting for the ball. Catching the ball doesn't matter if you put it on the turf and give it right back to them. 8 turnovers. Last week was 17 penalties, which is hard. But 17 penalties don't necessarily give the ball back to your opponent. Recovered turnovers do. Besides the picks that Garcia threw, and don't get me wrong, I can't put it all on him. This is a guy that has not had a lot of game experience, and he got thrown into a pressure cooker. I'll give him that, at least. But we put the ball on the ground. Fumbles. Fumbles. And we got our QB1 hurt. That's all on the O-line. The O-line got TVD hurt. TVD is a pocket passer. He's not a mobile quarterback. Yes, sometimes he will scramble if he has to. Yes, we have a few design plays, draw plays that he'll maybe get a few yards, but he's not a mobile quarterback. Garcia's supposedly a mobile quarterback, but not TVD. TVD is the most comfortable sitting in a clean pocket and throwing those balls. The O-line did not pick up a single blitz, and they allowed TVD to get stomped. And now he's hurt. Don't know the extent of his injuries. I'm guessing collarbone, maybe a separated shoulder. Best case scenario is out for a game or two. Worst case scenario, he's out for the rest of the season. But that's on the O-line, not picking up that blitz. So now we throw this quarterback that I don't even know if have we even given Garcia the proper amount of reps with the first team to be able to take over the helm if TVD goes down. I mean, your backup quarterback, you know, your second quarterback in line should be ready at any moment to step in and lead the team. Have they properly prepared him for that? And if they haven't, that is on coaching. And while Cristobal is the defensive guy, and he has delegated offensive duties to staff, he's still the head coach. It still falls on him. But the offensive side of the ball, the offensive coaches have not, obviously, it's not guesswork. We saw the product on the field. They obviously did not prepare Garcia to step up and be QB1 if need be. That's on them. Rooster, Jalen Knighton, what is going on? I can't figure out this guy. Last year, I mean, the kid was amazing. Now he comes in this year, and other than the first 2 games of the season, I mean, we can't count anything he did against Bethune. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. But once we got past the first 2 games, the Rooster has done pretty much nothing. And now it's 2 games in a row, 2 games that he has fumbled and basically not just turned the ball over, changed the flow of the game, changed the momentum of the game. Can't put all this on him because he wasn't the only fumble this time. He got the ball rolling, but he fumbled, TBD fumbled, everybody fumbled. Nobody could hold on to the ball anymore. The bright spot of the team seems to be Colby Young. I mean, Colby Young is going out there. He's a dog. We're in rough shape. Our running backs are okay at best. We don't have no Frank Gores. We don't have any Willis McGahees. Those days are gone. We don't have those guys. We don't have no dogs like that. We need to go out and recruit them. We need to get them there. And I'm sure in Miami, we have that talent out there, but they're not, as far as I can see, in that running back room. The O-line stunk last year, stunk the year before, and they stink this year. I mean, I know Zion Nelson was out, but even when Zion was in, he wasn't really living up to his potential, so it wouldn't have mattered if he was in there anyway. Yes, we have injuries. Yes, a lot of these players are Manny's players. But would Manny's team give up and let this Duke team whoop us in our own house? I don't think so. Would Manny's team lose to Middle Tennessee? Middle friggin' Tennessee? I don't think so. So you can't just blame it on the kids, right? A coach is not just X's and O's. A coach is supposed to motivate. He has not motivated these kids. He has instilled some discipline. I'll give you that. Took away the turnover chain because he thought that was a distraction. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't be celebrating a turnover when we're getting beat in the middle of a game like we were before. So I get that. It's a little bit of embarrassment. It got a little too much. But it's to you, man. Like, these kids like shiny things, and that's their motivation. So if you're going to take that away from them, then you got to give them some other motivation other than, hey, go out there and win a game. When your team is down and your team is getting punched in the mouth, you as a coach, you as a coaching staff, to be able to calm your guys down and give them the motivation to right things, move forward, and fight to the end, and not make those simple little mistakes. Not put the ball on the ground, for instance. They're not doing that. So there's a disconnect between the coaching staff and the players as far as motivating them and buy-in. There's a few players that have buy-in, but it does not seem like the team has buy-in. And the University of Miami has shelled out way too much money to this coaching staff to not have buy-in at this point, to not find some sort of motivation for these kids. So Coach Cristobal is going to have to dig deep in his bag of tricks and reach these kids and not lose the locker room. Because right now, we got commits We got plans for the future, but those kids aren't playing now. These kids are playing now. So we have to do the best with what we have. And listen, I did not think in any way, shape, or form that Mario Cristobal was going to come in here and we were just going to sweep the Coastal and go to the ACC championship and possibly win it this first year. Didn't think that. I also didn't think we'd get curb stomped by Duke and Middle Tennessee. The worst part of this, it's a different team from week to week. I mean, beginning of the season, you say, hey, you're going to lose to Texas A&M for sure. Cool. You're going to lose to Clemson. Okay, cool. And they actually surprised me how they played against Texas A&M. That day, that squad, I thought, okay, they lost, but man, they put up a good fight, made a few mistakes. We could have actually won that game. Not shocked that we lost it. I was actually shocked that it was that close. But we could have actually won it. And then we turn around and do this. It makes no sense. It's really difficult to be a fan with pride right now. Very difficult. So I think, our expectations were set too high at the beginning of the season. But I think even after what we saw with the Middle Tennessee and Texas A&M, Virginia Tech, I think that we need to set our expectations even lower. I think this first year is a wash. We could possibly lose every game for the rest of the season now. Judging by the way these losses that we've had, the way the kids play today, we could lose every game from here on out, including Florida State at home. I want to bite my tongue until blood shoots out my nose to say that. But we could quite possibly lose to FSU at home. FSU is not that great either, but they're playing actually better than us. They're playing a little more together as a team than we are right now. And I really, I'm hoping the spirit of the old Orange Bowl gets infused into them for that game. And somehow they get inspired in the next couple of weeks and get things together. I don't know. I'm very skeptical that can happen. I knew this was going to be a rebuilding year with a whole new coaching staff that probably isn't quite together themselves. But I thought we'd at least match Manny's record from last year. We're not going to do that either. So I say we strip this thing to the bones. If you watch Coach Cristobal's post-game interview, he made it very clear. I mean, he's obviously very upset, very angry, probably not just at his team, but probably at the coaching, and himself included. Very disappointed. But he says if guys aren't fighting and they're not playing with heart, that he was basically saying they can find somewhere else to play. And maybe that's where we're at. Maybe we need to just look to the future. Not try to salvage this year necessarily. Not try to tank the season, but maybe we need to start putting freshmen in. Maybe there's some more Kobe Youngs out there that need to get a chance and maybe show a spark, give a spark to this team and show something and put a little fight in this dog, right? Maybe we just need to just tear it down all the way. Another question. Is Gaddis the right guy? Is Steele the right guy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure they are. I don't see this offensive coordinator making adjustments during the game. It looks to me like if we lose a game, tries to make adjustments for the next game. But when he's in the game, there's no adjustments. TVD's a pocket passer. Pocket passer's gone. Now we got a mobile quarterback. So do we change the play calling a little bit to fit a guy that can run and move, especially with an O-line that's not going to give him great protection? Nope. It's just like we just pull one chess piece out, we put the new chess piece in, we're going to run the exact same offense as if TVD was there, even though totally different skill set for this quarterback. I mean, we're setting him up for failure. Defense, now don't get me wrong, the turnovers gave them a very short field to work with. So it's kind of hard to critique them. But, you know, if we look at this game and previous games, is this defensive coordinator the right guy? Or defensive coaches that, position coaches, is Charlie Strong the right linebacker coach? I don't know. I mean, I think Cristobal is going to have to look at everything, not just personnel in the game, not just players, not just assessing who he's got on the bench and who's getting limited reps and maybe who he thinks should be playing next year. But maybe he needs to look at internally at his staff and say the coaching philosophy of some of these position coaches and our offensive and defensive coordinator, maybe they are not the right fit for this team. I remember years back with Bobby Bowden, when I believe they were playing us, because if I'm watching FSU, probably only because they were playing the U. And I remember he didn't like the play calling in a game, and he took the headset from the offensive coordinator, and he started calling plays for offense. Because, yeah, he delegated, but the guy he delegated it to wasn't getting it done, so he took it upon himself. Now, I know that Cristobal is more of a defensive guy. Maybe the offensive, play calling duties is not his skill set. Maybe that's the case. But if that's something he can't do, and the guy that he has delegated those duties to is not getting it done, then he needs to go. Hard choices, but he's a head coach. He's getting paid the big bucks. Those are the decisions he's going to have to make. But moving forward, I think we need to prepare for the worst. And the worst is the season's a wash, and that we may conceivably lose every game from here on out. Maybe if we're lucky, win one or two, maybe. But we are actually probably not going to get a bowl game this year either. I would be, at this point, shocked, surprised if we got a bowl game. Even if we did, it would be a very crappy bowl game. I wish I could be more positive. Me and my adult drink was trying to get my head in a positive mindset, but I can't today. You got to be real. I'm still a Cane through and through in my heart, but it ain't gonna be 2022. That's for sure. So I'm gonna have to stick with my original thought, which is a 5-year plan. First year's a wash. Second year, respectable. Third year, coastal. Fourth year, ACC championship. Fifth year, we be at the very least, a contender for the national championship, or at least make the playoffs and be in the conversation and make a run at it. But that doesn't look like it's any closer than 5 years away. All right. So as Cristobal himself said last month, the U is not back. The U is back to work. See you soon. We'll be playing Virginia next week. Hopefully we could play respectably against them. And in 2 weeks, November 5th, we've got FSU. So regardless, I am going to drive down to Hard Rock Stadium on November 5th. I'm going to get with my peeps. We're going to tailgate hard and long. Because we are undefeated at tailgating. That's one thing we're good at. We're going to tailgate our behinds off. Talk a little smack. Probably not as much smack talking going to get done as in the past years, but, we're Canes, man. We're always going to talk smack when we lose. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some adult drinks. And hopefully, we can walk out of the Hard Rock Stadium with our heads held high. If not, see you at Tootsie's. See you next time. Just win Canes. Canes by 90. Win by 90, not lose by 90. Go Canes.